When your girlfriend says, "We need a break," right before your birthday, you know it's not about space, it's about convenience. I remember staring at her across the table, her tone so casual it almost sounded rehearsed. "It's just, I need to clear my head," she said, playing with her straw while avoiding eye contact. It wasn't even subtle. She'd been distant for weeks, late replies, canceled plans, the usual "I'm just tired" excuses. Still, I didn't expect her to drop that line right as she was packing for a girls' trip to Miami. I asked, "A break? Now?" She shrugged. "I just need time to figure out what I really want." I didn't argue. I just leaned back, nodded, and said, "Perfect timing." The calm in my voice seemed to throw her off. She expected begging, maybe a dramatic scene. But instead, I wished her a good trip and paid the bill. That night, I sat alone in our apartment, her half-packed suitcase by the door, my birthday plans suddenly irrelevant. At first, the silence hurt. Then it started to make sense. Every unanswered text, every deflection, every night she claimed she was out with coworkers. It had all been leading to this moment. The next morning, I woke up to a text from her, "Boarding soon. Hope you're not mad." I replied with a thumbs up. No words, just peace. What I didn't expect, though, was her best friend Emily stopping by that evening. She showed up holding a small wrapped box. "I know it's your birthday tomorrow," she said quietly. "And I didn't want you to spend it alone." Emily had always been around, part of the same friend group, a quiet observer in the background. Unlike my girlfriend, she actually listened when people spoke. We ordered pizza, watched an old movie, and for the first time in weeks I laughed. Halfway through the night, she turned serious. "Can I tell you something?" she asked, eyes flicking to the TV and back. I nodded. She hesitated, then said, "I've liked you for a long time. Just never wanted to cause problems." The words hung in the air. First instinct was disbelief. This was her best friend. But then I saw the sincerity in her face, the kind that didn't come from impulse or jealousy. She wasn't trying to get revenge for me. She was just being honest. I didn't kiss her that night. I just thanked her, genuinely, for being real with me when everything else in my life felt fake. But something in that moment shifted. For the first time since the break, I didn't feel like I'd lost something. I felt like I'd just started to find it. Emily left late that night, but the quiet didn't feel heavy anymore. It felt like clarity. I lay in bed replaying her words. "I've liked you for a long time." It wasn't the confession itself that lingered, but the way she said it with warmth, not expectation. The next few days passed slower than usual. My girlfriend, well, my ex for now, was flooding her stories with palm trees, champagne flutes, and "girls just want to have fun" captions. I didn't comment, didn't even open them. I just let her broadcast her version of finding herself. Emily checked in a few times. A text here, a meme there. Then, on my actual birthday, she showed up again, this time with a homemade cake and a shy smile. "Didn't think anyone should spend their birthday alone," she said. We ate cake on my balcony, city lights flickering below. It was simple, quiet, easy. She asked about my work, my plans, my goals. No drama, no manipulation, just genuine interest. And that's when it hit me I'd been in a relationship for 2 years with someone who never really saw me. Emily, in a few conversations, somehow did. She laughed at something I said, then caught herself, covering her mouth. "Sorry, I shouldn't be here like this. It's complicated." "It's okay," I said. "I didn't ask for any of this either." There was a pause, then she whispered, "But I'm glad I'm here." It was the kind of moment that could have turned romantic icily, but it didn't. It stayed suspended, delicate, almost sacred. I didn't want to taint it with rebound energy. Instead, I just nodded, silently agreeing that whatever this was, it felt real, and that was enough for now. Later that night, I scrolled through my ex's stories one last time. Her captions had shifted from girls' trip vibes to "life's too short to settle." That was all the confirmation I needed. She wasn't finding herself, she was testing if I'd still be waiting when she got back. Spoiler, I wouldn't. 2 days later, Emily texted, "Want to grab dinner? It's just as friends, if that helps?" I said yes. We met at a small Italian spot she liked. Midway through the meal, she said something that stuck with me. "She's going to come back. They always do. Just promise me you'll do what's right for you, not what feels familiar." I promised. We walked back to my place afterwards, still talking. No hand-holding, no flirting, just a quiet understanding growing between us. When she left, I noticed my phone lighting up. It was a message from my ex. "Hey, I miss you. Can we talk when I get back?" I didn't reply, not out of spite, just because, for once, I didn't need to. But deep down, I knew the storm was brewing in. When she came back from Miami, everything would change. The morning she came back from Miami, I already knew. My phone buzzed with her message. "Landing soon. Can't wait to see you." Funny how 4 words could feel so empty after everything. I didn't reply. Instead, I poured myself a coffee and sat at the kitchen counter, letting the silence stretch. My apartment looked different now. Not because I'd changed much, but because it felt cleaner. Lighter, like her absence had aired out all the tension she used to bring in. Emily had stopped by the night before to drop off a book she thought I'd like. We talked for hours again about life, music, stupid internet memes. It was easy. She had a way of making every conversation feel like home. When she left, she gave me a quick hug, brief, but grounding. That morning I caught my reflection in the window. Calm, collected, ready. At noon I heard the knock on the door. 2 sharp taps, just like always. I took a slow breath before opening it. She stood there with a bright smile, suitcase beside her, tan lines marking her shoulders. "Surprise," she said, stepping forward like she expected me to wrap her in a hug, but I didn't move. Her smile faltered. "Aren't you happy to see me?" I nodded once. "Sure, just didn't expect you so soon." She frowned, brushing past me into the living room. "God, I missed this place. Missed you." Then she noticed its subtle signs that someone else had been around. A coffee mug that wasn't part of our old set. A book on the couch that wasn't hers. Her voice sharpened. "Who's been here?" I didn't lie. Melly stopped by a few times. We talked. She helped me through my birthday, her face drained of color. "Emily, my best friend Emily." "Yeah," I said simply. "She's been a good friend." She crossed her arms, defensive. "You're unbelievable. We go on a break for 1 week and you're already seeing someone else." I raised an eyebrow. "You decided on that break, remember? Right before jetting off to Miami? And I wasn't seeing anyone. I was just living my life." Her jaw tightened. "You're doing this to punish me?" I laughed softly. "No, you did that yourself." Just then, as if scripted by the universe, my phone buzzed. Emily's name lit up the screen. My ex's eyes followed it, her lips parting slightly. I answered on speaker. "Hey," Emily's voice came through. "I just wanted to thank you for yesterday. It was really nice." I smiled faintly. "Yeah, it was. Thanks for coming by." When I hung up, my ex just stood there, stunned. Her voice broke. "Are you with her?" I didn't answer right away. I just looked at her, then at the half-unpacked suitcase by the door. And for the first time, she realized this wasn't her place anymore. She just stood there, frozen in the middle of my living room, like her brain was trying to process what her eyes were seeing. The confident, carefree woman who strutted into Miami looking untouchable suddenly looked small, fragile even. "I made a mistake," she blurted out, voice cracking. "I shouldn't have said we needed a break. I was confused, and everyone kept telling me to live a little. But I missed you the whole time." I leaned against the counter, arms crossed. "You missed me between pool parties and rooftop selfies." Her eyes flickered with guilt. "That wasn't what it looked like. Just needed to figure out what I wanted." I sighed. "And did you?" She hesitated. "Yes, you. I want you." It would have hit harder if she'd said it 2 weeks earlier. But now, it just sounded rehearsal, like a line she'd practiced on the plane ride home. She stepped closer, reaching for my hand. I didn't pull away immediately, but I didn't return the gesture either. "Please," she whispered. "Can't we just start over?" I looked at her, really looked at her. This was the same woman who had once promised forever, only to take a break when it got inconvenient. "You didn't want to fix things," I said quietly. "You wanted to escape them. Now that reality isn't as fun, you're back." Her voice hardened. "So what? You're just going to move on with my best friend? Do you know how that looks?" "What?" "Yeah," I said evenly. "It looks like consequences." She flinched like the word stung. "You're being cruel." "No," I said. "I'm being honest. Something you haven't been in a long time." She spun away, pacing the room. "Don't understand. Emily's not who you think she is. She's jealous, manipulative. She's been after you for years. Funny, I replied, because she never made a move until you were gone. And when she did, she was upfront about it. No lies, no games. She stopped pacing, tears welling in her eyes. So that's it? You're just done? I nodded. Yeah, I think I was done the moment you said we needed a break. I just didn't realize it yet. The silence that followed was thick. She stared at me like she was searching for some crack in my resolve, some sign that the old Mitha one who would have fought for her was still in there. But he wasn't. Finally, she grabbed her suitcase, zipping it up with trembling hands. You'll regret this, she muttered. Maybe, I said calmly, opening the door for her. But I'll regret staying a lot more. She paused on the threshold, eyes shimmering with something between anger and heartbreak. You've changed, she whispered. I smiled faintly. That's the point. When the door closed behind her, I exhaled slowly.
Ow.
For the first time in months, it didn't hurt. It felt like relief. But deep down, I knew this wasn't over. Not yet. For a few days, everything was calm again. The kind of quiet that doesn't feel empty, it feels earned. Emily and I spent more time together, cautiously navigating whatever this new thing between us was. We weren't rushing it. After all, it had grown from honesty, not opportunity. But peace never lasts long when someone refuses to let go. It started with small things, a missed call from my ex, then another. Then a string of messages that swung between apology and accusation. I can't believe you'd do this. You owe me a chance to explain. You replaced me with her that fast. I didn't respond. Silence says more than words sometimes. Then Emily got dragged into it. One morning, she showed me her phone. She texted me. She said, her voice uneasy. The message was long paragraphs of bitterness disguised as concern. My ex accused her of betrayal, of manipulating me, even of taking advantage of my heartbreak. Emily looked shaken. I didn't want to cause trouble, she murmured. Maybe I should back off for a while. I shook my head. No. She's trying to rewrite the story again. You didn't do anything wrong. But I could tell the situation was weighing on her. The last thing I wanted was for Emily to get caught in my emotional aftermath. Now I made a decision to face my ex one last time and close this chapter properly. We met at a cafe downtown, neutral ground. When she walked in, she looked tired. Not the glamorous, confident version from Miami, but the one stripped of pretense. I just need to say my piece, she began, sitting across from me. I shouldn't have said we needed a break. I panicked. But seeing you with Emily God, it hurts. It feels like you're trying to erase us. I sipped my coffee, keeping my tone even. I'm not erasing anything. Her eyes glistened. You really love her, don't you? I hesitated. I don't know what this is yet, but I know it feels real land. That's more than what we had at the end. She looked down, fiddling with her bracelet. You're making a mistake, maybe, I said. Yeah, but at least it's mine to make. When I left the cafe, there was no anger, no urge to look back. It felt like putting the final period on a chapter that had dragged too long. That night, I went over to Emily's. She was quiet when she opened the door, her eyes searching mine. I told her everything what was said, how it ended. She listened, then whispered, So, that's it? I nodded. That's it. She stepped closer, hesitant. Then maybe we can finally stop pretending this isn't something, and just like that. The tension that had been building for weeks dissolved into something simple, genuine, and right. But the calm was short-lived, because a few days later someone sent me a screenshot of my ex's newest post. She wasn't done after all. The screenshot came from a mutual friend. My ex had gone public, a long emotional post plastered across her social media. When you give everything to someone and they replace you with your best friend a week later, it was a mix of self-pity, selective truth, and just enough exaggeration to get sympathy rolling in. The comments section was a storm of strangers consoling her. You deserve better. Men move on so fast. That friend was never real. I didn't react, but Emily saw it too. She called that night, voice trembling. She's making me look like the villain, she said. People are messaging, me saying, I stole you, that I destroyed her. I hated hearing the hurt in her voice. Emily didn't deserve this. She'd done everything right. She'd respected boundaries, never pressured anything. The only thing she was guilty of was caring. Let her have her audience, I told her gently. Truth doesn't need defending, just waits. Still, I knew how the internet worked, how lies spread faster than facts. so I decided to post my own version, not out of spite but clarity. No names, no attacks, just truth. I wrote, sometimes people say they need a break because they've already left in their mind. Sometimes they come back expecting you to stay waiting. But when you finally learn peace, you stop being someone's second chance. The post went quiet for a few hours, and then exploded. People connected the dots, sure, but most saw through her act. Her own inconsistencies surfaced when someone pulled up her vacation stories, full of single-girl energy captions from the same week she'd supposedly been heartbroken. Within a day, her narrative fell apart. The sympathy turned into questions. Comments shifted from, "You deserve better," to, "Wait, weren't you in Miami partying?" She deleted the post, then deactivated her account entirely. Emily texted me later. "You didn't have to defend me, but thank you," I replied. "Didn't do it for defense. Did it for peace." That weekend we went hiking, no phones, no noise, just air and space. Somewhere along the trail, Emily reached out and took my hand. No grand gestures, no declarations, just a quiet, steady connection. When we stopped to rest, she looked at me and said, "It's strange, isn't it? How sometimes the right person doesn't enter your life until the wrong one finally leaves." I smiled. Yeah, guess heartbreak has a way of clearing space. Months later, my ex reached out one last time, an email this time. "I'm sorry. You didn't deserve how I handled things. I hope you're happy." I read it, took a deep breath, and clicked archive. Not delete. Just closure. Because some stories don't need dramatic endings. They just need to end. And as Emily laughed beside me later that evening, her head resting lightly on my shoulder, I realized that sometimes the best revenge isn't payback. It's peace. If you've made it this far, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments.